The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is a Wednesday in the Riv. And there was the first council meeting last night, huh?
It was very interesting.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And if you're watching it online, as I do, there's areas online where people can make comments as they're going along. So
Yeah.
I was watching Facebook for the comments, and I was watching the
Feed?
broadcast, the feed. There weren't many comments on the feed, but let me tell you something. On Facebook, it was going crazy. You had people saying, well, I'm not going to say anything for this meeting because I'm going to give them a chance. But most of them weren't giving them a chance. You could see what was happening, who was aligned with who already. And that's the sad part about it. And it was very interesting to see what was going to happen when certain things came up. For instance, the big issue that came up besides the marijuana issue was corporate counsel. And that passed 5-3. Sean, Trottley, and Cliff Ponte voted no. And why did they vote no? Because the attorney has no municipal law experience, none. And this shows how in Fall River, it's not what you know, it's who you know, which we've always known.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, look.
And the sad part about that whole thing was Linda Pereira came out and she was getting nasty about getting this guy approved. So what does she have in the race here? What's going on? Is this guy appointed because Linda likes him? Because Linda worked with him in DA's office? I'm sorry, but if he has no municipal experience, you're not going to hire an electrician for a mechanic, are you? I mean,
Well, in Fall River you do. I mean, yeah, that was a rhetorical question in Fall River. But, no, as you said, but the problem I have with that whole thing, and that's why I've called more than once for the abolishment of the Corporation Counsel's office.
well, seeing that they're going to hire KP Law anyhow to handle all the legal issues, then why do we need a corporate counsel?
Well, that's my point. You know, if you've got a corporation counsel who also will do the litigation, it's a different story. Or most of obviously a corporation counsel in a city with only 2 or 3 people, they may not be able to do some of these massive litigations. You may have to get, subcontract that out. But we don't handle anything. What do? Potholes, and they don't do anything because everything that requires virtually any court action except defending the mayor, which Joe Macy was really good at, we hire outside firms. We hire outside firms to negotiate contracts. We hire outside firms to litigate our favorite Dominion suit. We hire everybody, and so we're paying a corporation counsel, and that's where, you know, I have conflicting feelings about this. You know, everybody falling on their sword over this and making this a hill to die on. We've had many corporation counsels with no public sector knowledge. I mean, municipal government knowledge. I don't know very many in any city that are specialists. I mean, I think that when Tip O'Neill, they were talking about Tip O'Neill this morning on television. It was like, what's his name, Torres. When we got Torres over from Taunton, I believe he was a municipal lawyer.
Yes, he was.
For the city of Taunton. I also know that Neil Rossman was the corporation counsel for the town of Swampscott, but Neil did all the litigation because he's a litigator.
Right.
And fundamentally a public sector lawyer. And he's dealt with in the public sector his entire career. And Torres came over from Taunton with some experience. But the reality is, I mean, Swampscott's a small town. So realistically, they hire a guy. They don't have enough money to go subcontract and kill the taxpayer. But besides that, they'd get voted out of office in Swampscott because that's a rich town with people that are well educated.
And if you raise my taxes, you're gone.
If you're a corporation counsel and you can't do the job, you're going to subcontract out. They're going to axe you and the people who put you there. But you're right. I mean, look, I think what's more important, you said, is, and I got a lot of calls on it too, as you do all the time. You can already see the tribes forming.
Yes, definitely.
You can already see where the loyalties are beginning to, beginning to show, and the directions things are going. And look, I mean, I guess from what I was told, and maybe from a fairly reliable source, that I guess Sean Kadim really he eviscerated him.
Right, he did. And he was on the money. He was right on the mark.
Yeah, but in reality, what good does it do to have somebody with municipal experience if they don't do the job? We all know one thing about corporation councils. They're there specifically to protect the mayor and fashion opinions that support the mayor's position. That's their boss. And I've never seen a corporation council yet, and I think if I ever do, they'll only do it once, that comes out against the mayor, that says the mayor's full of crap, the unions are right, or the taxpayers are right, okay.
Boy, you're asking for a lot, aren't you?
Well, this is the reason I think this is much to do about nothing, because I hear a lot of these massive debates, and they come out and they got all their facts and figures and everything's right, and they still vote for it anyway.
Right.
They make a great case why it shouldn't be, and then it becomes a reality. That's what disturbs me about this whole process. It's like the kangaroo courts in Washington. You know, now we got, who's the managers now? All Schiff, all the cronies that led the charge for the impeachment.
Of course.
So, you know, this is all a dog and pony show, and they're all collecting their salaries, gave themselves a huge, gigantic raise, too, by the way, while not fixing the drug pharmaceutical prices, not fixing, controlling our borders to stop the influx of illegals, not doing anything about fixing, health care in general. They did absolutely nothing. They spent 3 years with partisan politics, and regardless of what side you're on, it's bull. It's absolute bull. You didn't get sent there. Politics is part of it. But when you completely set aside what the people want you to do and engage in two things, raising money and playing partisan politics, they should all be gone. And it's the same thing in the council. Made a big deal out of this, and you said 5-3. Who was missing?
Oh, Leo Pelletier was not there. He wasn't present. He had surgery on Friday, and he was recovering.
Okay. Yeah, because somebody told me it was 6-3, and then you said 5-3.
No, it's 5-3.
Okay, 5-3. Leo wasn't there. Yeah, so, look, much to do about nothing, but we see the alignments already.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this, I've listened to Michelle Dion, ad infinitum on her positions, that she's going to research everything, that she's going to look at everything. Obviously, when she voted for this corporate council, she didn't research anything. She just sided with Pamela Liberté-LeBeau, and it seems like that's going to be a force to deal with. It seems like Pam and Michelle are going to be aligned on everything, which isn't a good thing. Not because I dislike either one of them, but I just think that you cannot start your year off or start your career off in city council already aligning with people when you should be looking over the issues. And this is the problem. You're elected to represent the people. You're not there to represent the mayor. You're not there to represent this corporate council. You're not there to represent the city clerk. You're not there to represent the council president. You're there to represent the people. And you don't do it.
Well, I don't know what her motivation is. I can't speak. She may have just She may be of the same opinion I am, and that says I don't think we should have a corporation counsel because they do absolutely nothing except defend the mayor. They're not there for the people. They're not there to render decisions. They're there to render opinions. They're not the Supreme Court of the United States. He's a lawyer that's going to fashion opinions that are favorable to the politicians. So as far as I'm concerned, we should not have a corporation counsel. We shouldn't. We should just have a lawyer on retainer to, if there's a legal issue, you can come in and consult. And even then, he's working, it's like a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't care. You know, I mean, that's exactly what he is, but he's not our lawyer. And that's what disturbs me, CJ. That's what really disturbs me. You know, we pay taxes for people who represent us. And that's the one part of government that from the get-go, you know, even though they try to make the appearance that they're representing us, he's not there to represent us. And they've been blatant about it. They said, I work for the mayor.
And if you remember, under the Flanagan administration, a complaint was filed by the city council with the Board of Bar Overseers against then corporate counsel, and they said, corporate counsel works for the mayor, does not work for the city. Therefore, that's the opinion of the Bar Association. Therefore, our corporate counsel doesn't represent us, the people. He represents the mayor.
Well, shame, like I said, therein lies the difference between you and I and the council. We would not let it lie there. If the Board of Bar Overseers made that ruling, I would take it to the SJ. I would take it to court and question it, because they are part of the government of Fall River. So they are, and what does our Constitution say in our favorite part?
Part of the first, Article 5.
Right, and it says, all positions, be they executive, legislative, or judicial, are at all times answerable to the people.
That's right.
I would have gone to court against the Board of Bar Overseers if I was a counselor, just like now. If I was there, maybe, you know, and I'm going to give Michelle the benefit of the doubt. She voted for it. I'd like to hear her reasoning. My reasoning is simple. I don't think we should have any corporation counsel. And if I was on the council, I would abstain. I wouldn't vote for him. I would just go on record as being not in favor of the entire position and the office, and just obliterate it from the city budget.
Well, what was interesting was this corporation counsel was sworn in before the city council approved him. He was sworn in that first week that
who
Paul
cares?
Coogan. Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Because
we spend money before we get it, right? Don't they have CPA money spent
that's hanging around somewhere.
before they get it approved?
Yeah, they got it hanging around somewhere.
It's like the cart always comes before the horse in Fall River. So, you know, it's crazy. And as we get on insanity, Fall River Redevelopment Authority down to 1, but not for long.
And I'm not exactly sure who it is, but I think it might be Mr. Smith. You know, the harbor master?
Yeah.
I think that might be who's left.
I thought he resigned. Somebody said he was the one that resigned. He resigned. I don't know. It's irrelevant. Look, the RDA is useless too, and we know it. There's another politically appointed board that everybody says anything. Because
At this time, they don't even have a chairperson, and they can't elect one.
she's everything now.
They can't even elect one because they don't have a quorum.
She's everything. She's the only person there. She's the president. She's the chairman, co-chair, the head of every committee. She is every committee, every subcommittee. She's it. That's it.
But she doesn't have a quorum, so she can't even hold a
No,
meeting.
she doesn't have a quorum, but theoretically, she's in charge of everything, since she's the last person standing.
Right.
But you know what disturbs me? Like I said, again, we got school maintenance guy getting 6 figures. We got DCM by ordinance to maintain buildings. They don't. Are there ever any consequences, any investigations? 22 windows is still out there in another alternate universe. All these things that have been gross violations of their fiduciary obligations to the taxpayers of Fall River. And nothing ever gets followed up. Remember when Kathy Ann was exposed as being a tax cheat?
Yep.
Wasn't there supposed to be an investigation on other people?
Yep.
And the rumor has it that there are people who are friendly to other people who they're just not going to make it public. They're just going to say, well, we'll adjust their tax bills and nobody will ever know. But you know something? As much as I'm appalled by Kathy Ann allowing this to happen, it speaks volumes about her ethical foundation and her character, that being someone as being one of the highest paid city employees,
And the one who can afford it the most.
trying to duck out on your taxes. But in spite of that, I think everybody else that's politically connected or has some political office or is politically connected to somebody their name should be showed. Just like when they get the Johns. Remember they print the Johns
Yep,
names
they do.
into the paper? Let's present all the people who were tax cheats. Let's see what other politically connected people, be they employees, be they counselors, be they school committeemen, be they Jazel's relatives, whoever they are. Let's see who's politically connected. Where's the investigation? You never investigate. It's just like trying to investigate Hunter Biden. The Democrats, they running up. What's that got to do with anything? That's got to do with nothing. So again, they only use the two wrongs make a right scenario when it's beneficial to them. They don't want to say that, hey, somebody else did this. No, the only guy that counts is Trump. So that's their prerogative. But it disturbs me when I see things like this and all this debate that goes nowhere, because it's painful enough to watch council meetings sometime.
Sometime?
Well, yeah, well, all the time. Well, some of those 15-minute meetings that, they got 3 curb cuts and a light bulb, they're not that bad. But, this is the reason that things stay the way they are. There are no consequences. There are no follow-ups. There are no investigations. No one is held accountable. They collect their paycheck and ride off into the sunset, like Steve Camara did, like Jazel Correa did, like they all do. And nobody ever gets prosecuted. Nobody ever gets outed. They cover up for each other. So let's see. It seems like, let's make this kind of a quiz game. Let's make this like a game. Let's all our viewers out there. Let's hear your input. You know where to reach us at Spindle City Straight Talk, about who you think is going to be together. Who are the people, because we always have counselors with their little tribes. Let's see name the tribe. We're going to see, and we'll announce the winner of Name the Tribes at some point. We'll give them about 6 months.
I don't even think you're going to need that long.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like I said, you're talking about you weren't happy with Michelle Dion's vote, and it seems as though she did it because she's affiliated. Well, let's see if there's...
And I wasn't happy with Linda's vote. Linda almost took it personal that somebody was actually talking about not voting for this guy.
Well, she probably did, because Linda knows a lot of people, and she likes her. But that's the problem. I don't care. I have I have friends too, contrary to popular opinion, but I do. But if my friends are wrong, or if my friends are put in for a job that they then go to the fights together, we can do, we can enjoy each other's company. But I'm not going to advocate for them to get a job that they're not qualified to do, just because we happen to be friendly. I mean, if my friend who's been a landscaper for his whole life, and a good one, I might advocate for him to get into the cemetery. He might bury people in the right place.
For once.
Yeah, yeah. But if he tries to become corporation counsel, I'm not going to get upset if people say, well, you know, the guy's a landscaper. I can't vote for him for corporation counsel. He has no experience. He doesn't even have a law degree. But then again, Fall River, we had an assistant superintendent of schools with no degree. But let's get down to the one that you and I had a discussion with as it was going on yesterday.
Before we go ahead and move forward, I got two messages here, which are very interesting. Linda's trying to be the chief of her own tribe.
Okay.
And Linda likes to act large and in charge.
Okay.
Well, so already people, you know, I mean, people have made opinions about Linda for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not anything new. But the thing is that the first meeting of the new council, and already you can see where this is going. And it's not going someplace good. It really isn't going someplace good. And that's a big problem. And I was really surprised also that, you know, the newer councilors didn't act in accordance with what was best for the people and best for the city. I don't believe, as you don't believe, that this corporate council is good for the city. Not because of who it is, but because there's no municipal law background. And to be honest, we don't need one because we're going to hire somebody else to do it anyhow, as you said. But nobody on the council, not one, said, well, we're not going to need one anyhow because we're going to hire somebody from outside the city anyhow. So why bother?
Yeah.
I mean, although Sean Kadim was pretty much on point on everything he talked about. So,
well, you know, look, and I will be frank, I got a few phone calls about this guy because, you know, we both investigate people,
right.
You know, as much as we can. We try to get who they're connected to and everything else. But in reality, I got a lot of good reports about him, that he was a fairly ethical guy, that he was he was a good guy, but see, that's the key. It's like saying, well, you know, my next door neighbor's really a good guy, makes a great hamburger. You know, he does you know, a pig roast once a year or something like that, and you know, and I'm always invited, and so that makes him okay for the job that he's not qualified to do. See, therein lies the rub. The problem is that because he's a good guy, but then, like I said, then we get into the paradoxical nature of this job. Do you really need quality? But let's be frank. Why doesn't the city council just say, hey, look, put in whoever you want. We know that every opinion that he fashions is going to be in your favor. And let's just call it what it is, a political hack position.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
all. And then I think I would be more comfortable. I'd say, look, I don't like it, but at least they were
honest about it.
That's right. But let's get down to our marijuana retailer, because you and I had a nice discussion about this yesterday.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're going to provide police protection, and they don't have to pay for the cops.
Because they say they're paying for it already.
And and what did we say? Shame on our state delegation, shame on everybody in our council if they don't find out if this is true and change it. Because how can you have somebody, you're going to require companies to come in and dig a hole in the ground, and you're going to make them hire police officers. Now you're going to get traffic control, which, number one, is not going to help, because the only difference is they might drive slower and might not have an accident, but there's still going to be all kind of congestion because we're dealing with people parking on residential streets. Too much traffic for too little parking. It's not going to alleviate the problem. It's another political pandering to the people. Look, I'm doing something. I'm giving you cops. Yeah, well, it's still not going to cure the problem. I question why that place is still in business. There was an allegation that they were involved in kicking back, wasn't there?
There was an allegation which last night they denied being involved in that situation at all.
Well, you know something? If you are alleged to have committed a crime and you're a police officer, you get to go out on the street and police? No, they put you on suspension, they stick you indoors, they do something. You can't, if you're a Wall Street trader and you are accused of insider trading, don't they suspend your license to trade while they're investigating
Yes,
you?
they do.
So why aren't we suspending their license, period? Because until we investigate why they can get away with having cops and roads and everything and say, we don't have to pay for anything. We gave you X amount of money. No, again, here we go with the city. The greed, it's always pie in the sky with Fall River. All they cared about was the $2 million. We got $2 million. Nobody finished the sentence by saying, we're probably going to have to piss that away.
Well, think about it.
Paying for cops and construction, because according to these people, everything that they do now is covered by this money.
Yeah, the 3%, they call it an impact fee.
And if well, you can call it anything you want. It's a scam.
Right.
The bottom line is they've got preferential treatment for pushing drugs, and they were stuck in a location that was wrong, just like the school. Remember the charter school
Yep.
with the traffic? And what's been done about all those things?
Nothing.
They're
Nothing.
still there. And again, our government inaction, not inaction, the word inaction, that's what they're doing. Nothing. Nada. Nothing.
Well,
They
here's
do
what's
nothing
interesting.
about anything.
Here's what's interesting, which gets me going. Number one, they claim that the 3% impact fee or tax that they collect under the law says that involves all services the city's supposed to provide, which I find a little hard to believe. Pamela Liberty both said it very clearly. If we're doing this short term, it's not a big deal. But if we have to do this continuously forever and ever, forget it. It's just not right.
Wait a minute. That's totally wrong.
I agree with you.
City services as a city is supposed to provide. Traffic control for private entities is not a service the city provides.
Right.
Everybody else pays detail pay to police officers.
But nobody on the city council could see that.
Well,
Not one person on
what
the
a
city council.
surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
And they did nothing with it. They referred it to the mayor,
Well, look,
and they
they're-
referred it to, public safety.
Look, they're airheads. Like you said, they're going to do their homework. They never do homework. They have no ability to critically think. You just told me that, and in a half a second, I
Yeah.
said that doesn't make any sense because we pay police officers. You mean of the 8 city councilors there, no one could figure that out. No one could figure out that that's not a city service that's provided. Every time you see a Verizon truck or a gas company truck and there's police officers standing around a hole, do you think that Verizon doesn't pay for them?
Of course they pay for them.
The only people that I know of, unless they've changed the contract, that got, and they didn't even get it free, they got it at a reduced rate, were public entities. They got a reduced rate for detail pay, but they still paid.
Right.
They still paid. The only thing I know who doesn't pay, and I think it's illegal, and you always talk about it, is our favorite feast.
Yeah. They're provided everything for free. And they're not a taxpayer. They don't pay any taxes whatsoever, but they get all their services for free. That's a problem. So will Mayor Paul Coogan step up and say this year the feast is going to have to pay for everything? They're going to have to pay for their police details?
And then they'll say, why should we? The marijuana place doesn't have to pay.
Exactly. And what's very interesting, and as we're running out of time here, I think we have to make it very clear, you don't get everything for free, people.
Yeah. And neither is the marijuana place, and I sympathize with the people down there because having police officers there may make it a little safer for you in accidents and driving, but it's not going to cure the problem. Again, remember, inaction. And rather than having political inaction, let's see our politically inept begin to get into action, representing our best interests.
That will be something interesting to see. Hey, everyone, have a great day.